Warning. During this podcast, we talk about abuse. It's something quite prevalent in the end. If it triggers you, please don't listen. Enjoy the show.
It's a business at the aneurysm. After that,
I think I've heard of that.
yeah.
Stop blowing your back.
Should want to sort out, with these prisoners.
Season 2. It actually made me cry. It's the first anime I've proper bawled my eyes out. Is that a strength? Subbed.
Negative.
The yawning. I'm not tired.
Huge Furby. Which is very interesting.
Not necessarily because the story is too slow, but let's face it, he's a comedy genius, also not just comedy. He pulled it off very well. There are times where it's a bit kind of like you can tell they kind of highly interesting.
Yeah.
Very well acted, but the new anthology for that season 2 is excellent. Bit annoying that there were like real life stories, like people are sitting around and talking about their real life experiences. There is fucking Archer!
Perform CPR!
Bass, electric guitar. Random things! Do you have a random thing, sir?
And Archer.
I don't know if that's anyway. It's again, it's like beep. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mind Over Madness podcast with myself and the wonderful Sean. Look at that. There he is. It says Sean.
Oh, Sean.
Ah, yeah.
Gary.
Sean.
Did you ask how I was? I was like, what was that?
No, how are you? How is things?
Yes, I am very good, yeah. Yeah, I can't complain. Yeah. Been a pretty productive week, but not really too eventful, so
yeah,
not really too much to talk about, but
pretty boring week, but
plenty to talk about on this, so that's all right.
Yeah, that's good. I'll be honest, I'm quite low on shit this week. I don't have a lot.
You made up for it in the actual life things.
Definitely. Not to go too much, but it's been a hectic week. So obviously I'm back with my mum now. I'm back in my room. My nan came home. Hooray! She good. She much better than she was. So now it's just a case of we'll wait and see what care package she needs.
Yeah.
That is it. What a wonderful world. But yeah, so it's a little bit later that this is being recorded, but you'll never know.
Because you usually get uploaded like
I've normally got, I think the first clip would have been going up today. So
it could still happen.
Could still happen. That it'd have to be fucking quick.
Yeah.
but we'll see. Maybe it will. But yeah, other than that, it's just a bit weird sleeping here again last night. It was strange. I definitely miss living on my own and stuff. But
yeah.
It's nice to be back here. It makes stuff easier, I guess, seeing friends and family and being able to spend time with obviously like you and Robin and stuff now and playing games with better internet. I did miss the internet.
Yeah, it's a big thing for this generation. It's the internet situation. Like you could be living in like the fanciest place ever, but the internet's bad now.
It's like, no, can't accept this place. There's no 4G.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes. So, for those of you who are not familiar around here, we have a little structure which we go through the news, and then we go into some films and TV, and then we play our games and talk about them, and then we go into our random things. However, I think there's something a little different today. Is that
Yeah, it's never actually fully set in stone structure. So we've got a few new sections, with one being books and one being music. So they may not be massive sections, but we'll see how it goes along.
Well,
and it may not be every week, but
it's always good to have some conversations that are different and that are different. Who wants to do the same thing every time? That's why we started making these longer apart. So it's more. But
it gives us more inspiration to like add more things to it rather than just like droning on the same topics. Like, COVID. COVID again. It's still a thing. Yeah. Having said that, we probably will talk about COVID.
It'll probably be somewhere in here. But definitely not as bad as it was a year ago. See it that way.
Shall we start with the news anyway?
Let us start with the news.
Let us get started. So we'll talk about some COVID stuff, get that out of the way. First.
Yeah, let's get that done. Let's go.
So I suppose it's probably kind of good stuff because about 75% of the population. I may have made this up.
Okay, that's a good
start. At
start.
least the first jab,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's around that anyway.
Yeah. Let's do some.
So that's good
checking.
with a big kind of herd immunity thing going on. Obviously, hospital figures and stuff are down in the double figures and what have you. So that is very good. And deaths are in the single figures every day,
which is definitely good.
There is one kind of caveat to it, with being the Indian variant is getting a bit prominent now. I hate calling it the Indian variant, but it's easier than calling it B115765 or whatever.
781292.
Yeah. Because it's so racist to call it Chinese virus, but Indian variant, that's fine.
The China virus.
But yeah, that's kind of a bit more transmissible, and places like Bolton and Blackburn and other places are kind of really getting hit by that one. Bolton isn't far from where I am, so
that's great.
So they're getting like more cases now than in January, which was like the peak of it now. But I mean, it could just be like variables and ebbs and flows and stuff. So I know Bolton, like last year, was like kind of low when the rest of the country was high. So it kind of just depends. It's like nothing to be absolutely losing your mind over. But
so is there like I can't remember if I've seen anything on it, but I'm not sure if you know. But is there like any? I know they've done tests to see if like that variant is, more transmissible, and if the vaccine actually has like any effect on it. I'm pretty sure it does. I haven't seen anything that says it doesn't. But they have. I think that's the only variant now that's like being flagged, right? That's like this could cause us a pain in the ass, like a pimple.
I think it's the South African variant that has like strong resistance to the vaccine, but like that's not really talked about much because
I wonder why.
In the bud a little bit, or it's really ripe and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
But the I was going to call it a Bolton variant. Then Bolton. The Indian variant is kind of ripping through the younger populations more, which obviously aren't vaccinated, and schools are having to close and stuff like that. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, they're not introducing massive restrictions in these areas yet, but how the local lockdowns will go.
Yeah.
All the northwest, you're getting locked down again. It's goodbye. But like they're saying, don't leave the area and don't unnecessarily travel out of it and stuff like that. So So like one step forward, one step back all the time. But
I do remember seeing. I can't remember what his actual name is, but I know they nicknamed him JVT, like a rapper. Yes, the rapper. Papa the Rapper Frog. He I know he was saying something when there was when he was like when they were doing like one of the press briefings, and it was the first time someone had ever really spoken up about this, but I think he did point something out along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's been a year now. We can't live the rest of our lives like in lockdowns and constant going back. We need to just live with it and get on with it at this point, and just get vaccinated and move forward. So, which I agree with. I'm glad someone in the fucking government said it eventually.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like that thing where the views of people change throughout the whole time, because at the start it was like, how dare you insist that lockdown is a bad idea?
Yeah.
Get on with it. How dare you? You must stick to them rules and all sorts.
Yeah.
Now it's a bit like, oh, fuck it,
To be fair, in the beginning, I was a stickler for the rules, fam.
Yeah.
I hated anyone that broke them. But after, like, I don't know, I'd say the 8th or 9th month mark, it was kind of like, okay, this is taking the piss a bit now. Enough.
Yeah.
We need some sort of semblance of life, because otherwise, it's
can't go on forever, can it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of natural progression of things, I suppose.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Awesome.
You're very covered that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cast of Friends have hit the headlines because they've done a little reunited thing. I think there's a program coming out where they're all reunited and, talking about their lives now and stuff.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of things from it. I haven't watched the full thing. But...
I haven't watched the full thing yet. I don't know if it's out yet, but we'll see. I mean, they're all looking pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, most of the females look exactly the same.
Yeah. I like the natural stuff. You look a bit older, but that's...
Yeah. Well, I think they've mostly had a bit done.
I would agree.
But I think they hit the headlines because there wasn't any black cast members that got like invited back or something.
Yeah.
And people are making out to be this huge thing like, oh my god, they're so racist because they're not like inviting black cast members when they were. So
yeah.
But I mean, it was a TV show with like that was the cast.
Yeah, that's the main cast. That's what if someone walks up to you and goes, oh, list the name of name the actors in cast. of Friends or the actual like people in there, you're gonna list those 6 off. But I think that's just redundant. People can fuck off.
It just screams slow news day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just screams, oh, well, people are bored of this thing. Let's talk about this thing. Let's create drama where there isn't any.
Yeah, where was that all the drama at in the past year? Oh yes, let's regurgitate some of that and
why did you not ask back this specific character from this specific episode who only ever appeared for 10 seconds once?
Yeah.
Let me think.
Because there are main cast members and then there are extras who may appear in those episodes, and you can't expect them to bring every single person back because half of them may have other commitments and half of them may not just be doing it anymore.
Yeah, plus they're still trying to follow certain procedures, aren't they, because of COVID. So I've seen a couple of things. I think the one thing I did see from it was people were like seriously concerned about I believe it's Matthew Perry, because of like he looked not exactly the happiest during it, but I think he's gone through a lot. I think he talked very openly about the problems that he had and with alcohol and stuff as well. So it's, I don't know, I think people unfairly picking it out is a bit, I'm probably not helping by adding to that by being like, oh, did you see him? But I don't mean to pick him out in a negative light, but I think people are being a bit harsh to just focus on that. Like
he's probably one of the only ones who's actually naturally aged as well, without any Botox being pumped in the face.
Although, I think Chandler, Joey, the guy that played Joey, Matt LeBlanc, he's just kind of done the dad bod thing. Yeah, he just was like, fuck it, I've hit that age, I'm letting it go.
Fair enough.
But
it'd be fair enough if there was like a main black cast member that they just didn't invite, which I don't really see that happening in this day and age.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's kind of just redundant news.
I don't know, and a lot of
it hit the headlines, so we got to cover it.
Yeah. What I don't get as well is like people were because Vic being quite a big fan of Friends, and like she has a friend that's massively into it. A lot of people were complaining about the fact they didn't actually do an episode. They just did like the reunion, and it reminded me of the situation with the In-Betweeners when they just did like they didn't do an episode. They just had like a reunion, just meeting up again. What's kind of your thoughts on that? Do you think would you have preferred to see like an episode, like a bonus episode that probably would been the same and wouldn't even be close, or like a reunion kind of thing like we had?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them to just like try an episode. Like they might as well. It's like a missed opportunity if they don't, isn't it? Because when are the schedules going to be all like sit in sync, like ready to be together again? But but I suppose if there's like no kind of creative direction behind it and it's all kind of rushed, and then it might just like tarnish what was a great thing. Yeah.
Because Friends had quite a definitive ending, if I'm right in saying. I believe they kind of all left the apartment. I think Courtney Cox and Matthew Perry's character had a baby, or am I wrong in that?
I don't know.
It's been
like I was one of those casual watchers where I just watched it before school and didn't.
I enjoyed it for what it was. But it was quite a definitive ending on it, I think. That's probably why they were like, no, let's not even risk bringing them back.
Yeah, I think that during this reunion, there's probably a few like little skits and callbacks to previous episodes and what have you. Anyway, so that could be fun.
Yes.
But I mean, maybe they already have recorded an episode and they just like aren't telling us because.
Can you imagine?
Who knows?
Drama. They didn't tell the public that they'd made an episode and now it's released. Is this right or wrong?
Yes. And there wasn't any black cast members
there. Yeah, no, I get you.
Because they weren't invited to the reunion.
Oh, bloody hell.
Moving on.
Yes.
There's been some royal drama again.
Oh, what a surprise.
There's a whole kind of not interview, like a documentary aired about Diana again.
The one.
All about this like Martin Bashir interview and stuff, and like it's caused a massive backlash amongst the family with Prince William like going on TV and saying, it's really caused a lot of damage to the family. BBC should be like ashamed of themselves and stuff, and really not great. And then obviously William pipes up, the BBC killed my mother. So you know how dramatic he is with probably Meghan prodding him in the back saying,
Harry.
take a knife.
Harry.
Yeah, Harry said that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Harry, he's married to an actress. She over dramatizes everything. Not to be sexist, but they're both drama queens.
So, like, do you think it's time to just let Diana rest in peace?
Yeah, honestly, because I kind of understand where William and Harry are coming from. I mean, they're probably not presenting it in the best way, but for fuck's sake, this was their mother. Just leave it be. They've gone through enough fucking trauma. They walked behind her coffin.
Yeah,
like, come the fuck on now. Enough. And to be fair, the BBC are leeches anyway. I don't fucking like them. I think they're a pile of shit. But I'm not surprised that they're trying to milk that situation for more, because they're just losing viewership every day. So they're probably just trying to find anything.
They have publicly apologised to the royal family, saying, we're sorry about all this stuff. But we'll still keep on airing stuff and making...
they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck. But people that work in the BBC, and this is not like generalising everyone that works there, but I mean like the super higher people, they are not good people. Okay? They're not.
No, it's a business at the end of the day, though.
You can look it up. There's been plenty of fucking situations and issues that the BBC have had over years, and this is just not surprising that they did something like this.
No.
I mean, I understand people may be curious and want to know more about the situation, but fucking hell, come on, there's plenty of documentaries. Just go and find one of them. I do think that William and Harry, I mean, let's face it, Harry's never going to deal with the situation well anymore because he's not technically classed as a royal. He considers himself a civilian now.
Just with all the extras that come with royal.
Yeah, he wants all the extras, but none of the work. So he really is a working class person now. Sorry, but he, I think it isn't fair to keep dragging them through it, especially with everything that's happened to that family recently as well. Obviously. Oh God, my brain. They've obviously had Prince Philip. He passed away.
Yeah, Prince Philip, the explosive interviews.
Yeah, the stupid fucking exposing interview that Harry and Markle did. Like, it's just fuck. Like, it's enough is enough now. Like, let them have the rest. Give them a year. Like, Harry, fuck off and do your own thing instead of talking about the family you supposedly want to be so distant from now. Like. Yeah. It's just.
I was playing like devil's advocate here. I'd say it's very convenient how like whenever there's like any kind of bad press about them, you somehow get this like, public sympathy swaying on them.
Yeah.
Like bring up this, how horrible it was for them, which it definitely was,
Yeah.
But everyone's had a lot of drama and loss in their lives, but they're not in the public eye.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's such a strange. It's such a complicated situation because like
royals are unlike anyone else.
Yeah. Inbred for a start, but I mean,
no. I didn't realize how actually closely tied my family are to the royals because they're all named after them. Like we've got a Philip, we've got an Andrew, we've got an Anne, we've got a Victoria.
Mate, yeah, I'd look into that.
I didn't realize how much of a fan my grandma on my mum's side obviously was. To name all of her children after the royals.
Bloody hell.
We've got a Catherine as well. So yeah,
fair dues.
We're big fans apparently.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those situations. I think I just fucking move on. It happened. Yeah. It's done. It shouldn't be something that's constantly brought up unless new evidence or something comes up and it's enough to kind of warrant an hour-long documentary. Sure, I guess you could sort of maybe understand it. But I still don't think it's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Paul Worrell, I think he's called, the Princess Diana's butler. He's still, I am the expert on all things Prince Diana, interview me. Still making money off that. So, yeah, they should just, drop it, bury it. Well, not bury it in the sand. Obviously, it has to be remembered. But we can't, keep on, dragging it out. For the pain it causes and the money it makes them.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't think any more. Yes.
Do you have any more things, or shall we move on?
I literally have no news. I feel bad because there was a couple of things that I did see. I just don't know why. I just didn't write them down.
Oh no, I'm really bad for that.
Yeah. It's the first time I've ever done it. I've just forgotten to write things down. Or I'm like, oh, I'll put that down in a sec. Continue making food and forgets what I saw.
Yeah.
So
I always put notes in my phone, but sometimes I think, oh, that's a really good thing to talk about, and I instantly forget about it.
Yeah, it's just gone. Okay, I tried. But But yeah, I don't have any news things, sadly.
Okay, we'll move on to gaming then, if you'd like.
Yeah, is it gaming or films?
Oh, I don't know, because we've like mixed it up these past few weeks.
Yeah, it's fuck it. Let's go to gaming. Let's have a switch up here.
Yeah, I think we need a bit of gaming after that seriousness.
Yeah, what games have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing some Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil 7.
Ah, cool.
And scaring myself silly playing that. I really can't play it in long bursts. Yeah. I managed to get past the bit where you've got to like fight Jack with a chainsaw. I was like, oh, whew, nearly having an aneurysm after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my gameplay kind of consists of me watching like a walkthrough on YouTube or someone else play it, and then I play it myself behind a cushion. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Like, I'm trying to get more into Resident Evil because obviously there's a lot of Resident Evil things coming out.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about that in the film section, but yeah. And yeah, like more Resident Evil things being picked up by other games like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get into it a bit more. But I'm enjoying that, and I want to play the 8th one as well. But we talked about that in a previous episode.
Yeah,
so.
in the last one, it was like, I ain't paying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and as far as like gaming news things, Last of Us 2 performance upgrade has come out. It's like a backwards compatibility plus thing.
Yeah.
So that goes in 60 frames now, which is, well, they just kind of dropped out of the blue. It's a bit strange. They said this is just the start of working on PS5, so maybe they're going to release a full PS5 version, like making use of the haptics and adaptive triggers and stuff, but we don't know. 60 frames is like the baseline, I think, of people wanting to play it on next gen and wanting to experience it.
Yeah.
Like that. So I think it's probably a good thing, definitely.
Yeah. It's definitely an improvement.
And free as well, so that's always better.
Oh yeah, whenever something's free, that's always better. Free is better.
But yeah, it seems to be performing well in 60 frames and stuff, and no major hiccups. A lot of people are saying, oh, it loses its cinematic edge when it's not on 30 frames, because films are generally in 24 frames. And it's quite a filmic game, but
those people are stupid.
Yeah, when it comes to gameplay, I mean, it's a bit night and day, really.
Yeah, it is. Because been playing a lot more PC games and stuff more recently, mainly because it's easier to play off my laptop when I'm moving around. And that playing in frame rates like 120 and stuff, like, it's nuts. It's mad how much of a difference, like, going from 60 to 120 or just 30 to 60. It's nuts. It just works better. It looks nicer. You don't have to have something in 4K when you have higher frame rate. It just looks better anyway.
Yeah,
which is always nice.
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry, you can keep on going on your game things. That's all I've got for game.
Oh, fair. I've gone back and played a bit more Far Cry. I've played a bit of Far Cry 2. It's been a long time since I played that, but I went back and played a little bit of that. Don't miss the malaria tablets. Those fucking things, they happen like every, I don't know, half hour in game. It just happens. You're like, why did you add this? But it is good. Classic Far Cry game.
Well, it's like a survival thing.
No, it's like the Far Cry formula, but like very, very stripped down and basic. So there's like a couple of side missions. There's still towers you have to climb to like open the map. But you have like your character has like I believe it's a malaria. Like, they suffer from malaria, so they have to have tablets like every certain amount of time, and you have to keep going back and refilling the tablets, and it's a bit of a ball ache. Like, it's probably the thing that is least enjoyed about that game, but
the first thing to be modded out by modders.
Literally, yes.
Get rid of that mechanic.
Yeah, played a bit more of Far Cry 3. I'm still going through that, and Div 1. I think there was something in regards to like games that I saw, but I can't put my finger on it now. There's so many things that I haven't written down this week. It's so annoying. There's like a new event going on in Zombies in Call of Duty. It's like an 80s action kind of thing, so you can like get John McClane and Rambo and play as
I saw something about that.
It's quite cool, but the only thing is that you can't get John McClane or Rambo unless you pay money.
Yeah.
So it's like a really scummy.
Can you not even grind for 7,000 hours and get it?
Nope. They are part of a bundle that you have to buy, which is scummy as fuck.
Right.
And they've not made it cheap as well. Like, it's 16... You have to spend about 16 quid. No, 17 quid at minimum to get one of them.
Yeah.
So you're spending over 30 quid if you want both.
But you'll be the envy of all your friends.
Yay.
And you'll feel like you're missing out if you don't have it.
Yeah, because it's only a time thing as well. It's not like it's going to be there forever. So, yeah, it's kind of poo.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid. I so disagree with that kind of shit. But you can unlock like certain things, but of course they're not going to let you get the characters for free.
All the really crappy stuff is in the free track.
Yeah, they're guaranteed they've done it as well because they've obviously had to pay for the licensing because they look like Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis. They look identical. So it's not surprising that they're making you pay for it because they've probably had to fork out a hefty amount to get their likeness in the game.
Yeah, I suppose with licensed things, it is that balance that they need to kind of charge for it to make the fees that they've had to pay and stuff. But I'm sure they could get it out of their own pockets. But
But then my argument would come back on like something like Dead by Daylight. They have loads of characters, but you can still unlock them just by playing the game. Granted, it might take a while, but you can still do it.
Yeah, it's just the licensed ones you do have to pay for on that.
Yeah, Bill, I think.
So that's why I was thinking, can't go too hard on the subject, so otherwise I'd be a hypocrite.
Well, to be fair, I think the thing is, if you really, really enjoy a game, so if someone out there like super enjoys Call of Duty Zombies and that's basically all they play, or they play it like enough to kind of warrant spending £17 just to look like a certain character, if it's something you want, fair enough. Yeah. Go for it. We're not saying you can't, but it's just, think about it, because a lot of people complain about certain aspects of games, yet still put money into it. Which is why the companies still do it, because they still make fucking millions. So, what else have I friggin' played? I've nearly finished it.
You feel like it's value for money, and you're playing it, and you're like, you're not just kind of suckered into the fact that it's the new and shiny, you want it now.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I don't think it's a massive issue unless you get addicted to microtransactions.
Well, if the thing with something like when you're buying, say, a character or a likeness of a character, and you get a bunch of other stuff, at least you know how much you're paying and you know what you're getting. At least there's that sort of line of what you're getting. With stuff like loot boxes and shit like that, that's not... That's 100% do not spend your money on that crap, because it is not worth it. You don't know what you're going to get. The odds of you getting something better, great, are going to be massively stacked against you.
It's the equivalent of like going to Penny Arcade and stuff, and you get like £10 worth.
It's been proven you have a better chance of going to an actual casino and winning compared to getting a loot box and getting something anywhere near worth.
Yeah, you come out with all these like little plushies and stuff, which are just like tat, and you're like, I spent 20 quid on these.
Yeah, but then at least you know what you're getting from it. I think that's the difference. Is like casinos and stuff are regulated. Loot boxes are not. Yeah. Even though the UK is trying to do that now, and they are pushing quite heavily on it. But that's just because they want more money.
Yeah.
But other than that, any other games that I've played? Not really. Not played a lot. Left 4 Dead 2. I've been modding the shit out of that game and playing it more. Because I love that game. It's so good. And I can't wait for Back 4 Blood when that game comes out. That is a game I'm very close to just being like, no, fuck it, I'll play it. But I don't want to. I'm not going to, because I'm going to wait for reviews and see what people say. Because looks can be very deceiving, as we have learned numerous times with games.
Yeah, so hopefully it's not like a shallow experience.
Yeah, it's done by the same studio that did Left 4 Dead, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, I can't see how it would be terrible.
Definitely looks good. But yeah, other than that, I can't remember anything else, and I've written nothing down.
Okay. On that bombshell.
This week is going to be quick.
Well, half an hour in, we're on the 2 out of 6 sections. 6. Yeah. Can I count? Yeah.
Can I count? I can't.
So I was thinking if we do a little segue into books.
Books?
Now.
All right.
So this is what I've been wanting to do for the past 3 weeks, but I always forget. So I read a book called The Governor. It is a memoir. I've got it actually here.
I actually think I've heard of that. Stop blowing your background. Yeah,
But
no.
yeah. It's by Vanessa Frake. I don't think she wrote it. I think she got someone to write it. But she was a governor in one of Britain's most notorious prisons, Wormwood Scrubs. It's down in London, or near London. And yeah, you get a good insight into the prison service and thing. I've got lots of family who've been in the prison service, so it's quite interesting to hear their aspects and angles on it, and just like her aspect on it, and how it kind of links and it differs in some ways.
Oh, fair.
Because obviously my granddad was in the prison service for a long time, but around about the same time that she was. My granddad was in Strange Ways though, and she was in London. But and she was obviously governor. My granddad was a senior prison officer, and he was like, he was very much like, there's nothing like the end of a truncheon won't sort out, with these prisoners. But from her angle, it's kind of like they do get treated with some margin of respect and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see what they were and weren't allowed in. Like they were allowed pets at one point, like little budgies.
Oh yeah.
Which is very, very interesting for me to learn. They stopped it though because a lot of them were killing them.
Yes, I think I remember watching a documentary and hearing that.
Yeah, that's something I had no idea about. And even they allowed like family members to send in food packages and stuff, but obviously that was an absolute nightmare with drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I can see why they stopped that.
Yeah, not the best idea.
But yeah, the fact how it changes over time, and nowadays with my sister just come out of the prison service, she was it's all about Wi-Fi and little privileges, what stages they're at. It's so different nowadays, but yeah. Okay. Very interesting though. I highly recommend it.
Oh, I'll probably get the audiobook version, but I've got it on my wish list now. So
yeah, very interesting. Like I couldn't put it down. My mum's read it as well. I'll probably give it to my granddad.
Oh, fair dues.
But yeah, that was just a little book review.
Yeah, I do like books like that, especially when it gives you like an insight into something.
Yeah, it's not like made up and stuff. Like I think when you start reading like real things, like you kind of I know it's like arguable, like how much is it from their perspective, and like same with documentaries and stuff. Like is it fully truthful? But I'm sure I can't see why it wouldn't be.
It's like there's always an agenda.
Yeah. She's like, imagine if she just like made it all up.
Oh, can you imagine?
Outrage. No, I still don't think she has.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I going to say? I don't know.
That happens a lot to both of us, doesn't it? It's like, what were we going to say? I don't know.
So sidetracked. Yeah, I recommend it.
Check that book out. Good book.
I was saying, I remember what I was going to say now. After you've read a lot of like real things, from going from fiction to non-fiction, it's kind of hard to go back to fiction again because you're just like, this isn't real. When it comes to books, anyway, that's what I find. But
I find that with documentaries and stuff, when I watch documentaries and stuff, and then I go back to watch a fiction film, I'm like, oh, this doesn't work for me.
But yeah, I suppose it's the adjustment period. You'll get back into them, I'm sure, if you try. But well, speaking of books, was there any like childhood books that you loved or
did you
read?
By Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Any Roald Dahl book, I would read the living shit out of them, and Beast Quest, both of which very easy to read and very big writing. Lots of pictures.
Oh yes.
Says a lot about me.
I used to love those Biff, Chip and Kipper ones. I don't know if you ever.
No, I never actually.
I read those. They're like proper kids books, like about a dog and like a family. I think. I used to like it because of Biff, Biff farts. I used to read the series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. They were so good. I still have them all upstairs. Such a unique kind of cool angle on like breaking the fourth wall with the books and stuff. I think it was kind of a bit new at the time doing stuff like that. So it felt good to read those as a kid, and you're like, it's breaking boundaries. But yeah, and Harry Potter ones as well. But I was never like the massive Harry Potter thing. I think whenever someone asked me, what are you reading at the moment, I was always just like, Harry Potter, because it was like the that everyone read. And it proved you're an intelligent child.
I didn't read. So that makes me very silly.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of the books I read were like super big writing, so it was like 3 lines on a page.
Yeah.
I have really short attention span as well. Like I think I tried to read the Lord of the Rings books when I was a kid. I think I got to about page 5.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I've done enough reading for a year.
Some of them, the films are better. They're more interest. They capture your interest a bit more.
I absolutely, There are a few good books that I read. I think these days I tend to. I think I've said this before, but I'm more of an audiobook guy. So I've got loads of audiobooks that I'm listening to.
I went through a stage of listening to audiobooks a lot and audio dramas as well, which are a bit more immersive. But then I always find that I'm like reading something at the same time, then I'm not actually paying attention to the book. So it's quite hard to just kind of just sit there and listen for a while. But it's something you get used to, I suppose.
I tend to if I'm playing like a game that I've done, like it's just sort of a repetitive thing like zombies or something like that, then I'll just chuck an audiobook on, because I'll pay more attention to the audiobook than I would the zombie stuff.
Yeah. I just struggle with multitasking, so I'm like I could just be reading something now, so I'm like reading and listening to but yeah.
No, that's fair.
So yeah, that was a nice little book section, wasn't it?
Nice
book club.
Book section. Book club.
Oh yeah.
I have to start that. Promoting reading is healthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Although we don't do it that often that we can do it every time, but
I mean, if I could easily get an audiobook done every 2 weeks, easily, but I just don't. I don't listen to it enough. I need to start listening to it more.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll become a recurring thing. Who knows?
From the written word to the seeing sight, let's go to films now.
Ta-da! Yes. Let us move towards that.
Has there any films you've been watching recently?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I'll be honest. I actually wrote the stuff down, so I'll get this. I'll get this out of the way early. So animes, in regards to them, I watched through Psycho-Pass season 1, which is kind of like the world is kind of set up as police have enforcer guns, and these guns determine your mental health state, and then that determines whether you're paralyzed, executed, or if you're healthy. So it's like that's how they control the population and deem someone whether they just paralyzed and need to get rehabilitation, or if they die. So, but it's an interesting anime. Interesting.
Have you played the Psycho-Pass game?
I haven't yet. No, I've been holding off playing the game, so I want to watch through the animes first. So I'm going to watch through season 2, and then I'm going to binge the game, I think, because I really liked it.
Nice.
But it's pretty good. I'm assuming you've played the game then.
Well, I tried it because it was free at one point, but I you know me, I need to know the context behind it before I fully get into it. So I was a bit like, oh.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. A lot of anime games do that. They tend to assume that you've seen it before.
Yeah. So I was just kind of thrown in, and you're just kind of skipping all the dialogue, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I need to really get into it if I'm going to play this.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Maybe that's one of the things we'll watch after Lost.
Yes.
I also watched through the last anime that I actually have is Assassin's Creed 2 season 2. It actually made me cry. It's the first anime I've proper bawled my eyes out at. Very emotional ending. I think it's raining. Great. Sorry. Yeah, no, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a very good anime. I would highly recommend people go and watch season 1 and 2. It's like an easy one to watch as well. It's not like super complicated or anything. It's an interesting and probably a more fun way to get into anime if you're interested in it. But other than that, that's the only animes I've watched. Any films or TV that you've watched, and then I'll go through a few of mine.
I've watched a film on Netflix, Woman in the Window, which is quite good. I liked the kind of vibe that it was going for with one of my favorite Hitchcock films was Rear Window, and that kind of builds on that a little bit, and you've obviously got the woman trapped in the flat, and she's like living her life through looking at other people's windows and being a bit of a peeping tom.
As you do.
There were some aspects of it that were really good and kind of tense, but there were some aspects of it within the story that I didn't really like so much. The reason why she's in this flat is because she's got agoraphobia and she doesn't want to go out, but that somehow a switch just gets flipped and she's fine, like at some point.
Yeah,
so
that's not how that works.
I know. So I didn't really like that part of it, but it was decent. Yeah,
I've seen that advertised a lot on Netflix. So
it kind of turns from thriller to like horror to just like thriller again. It kind of doesn't really know what genre it is really, but
yeah,
because it switches it like shifts gears like a lot. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was going down this direction. Now you're going down this one.
Because then it's like turned into house invasion, and then
is that a strength or a benefit to it? Do you think? Multi subs can be a benefit sometimes, but do you think that it's so sporadic that it kind of actually throws off the story and the script and stuff?
I think when it comes to this one, I think it is a bit of a negative. It can work, a lot. It can keep you intrigued more with like kind of shifting you around a bit.
Yeah.
This one, it's a bit like all over the place. So yeah, I would say it works against this one. Excuse me.
That's all right. I've been constantly bloody yawning. I'm not tired. I don't know why I'm yawning. I've drunk 9 cups of tea today. I can't be fucking dehydrated. Come on. Oh, that's fair.
I also watched Mitchell's versus Machines, which is a very fun film. I really enjoyed it.
That's good.
Yeah, a certain scene with a huge Furby, which is very interesting. A lot of callback to childhood toys and a lot of real things being talked about, like YouTube and stuff. And obviously, the main girl wants to be a filmmaker, so there's all kind of things like going on, which like a lot of young people would relate to.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Fair dues.
It's very funny as well.
Did you watch that on like Netflix or something? Or
yeah, it's on Netflix. It's one of the top 10 like recently. So
fair. I'll have a look.
It's really good animated. I think it's a Sony animation. I seem to be preferring those these days to the Disney ones. They seem to be a bit more real, and obviously Sony must have access to more rights than Disney do because they actually talk about real things and it makes it a bit more real.
Oh, fair dues.
But yeah.
Interesting.
What about you? Films?
Well, a film that I finally watched yesterday when it came home was Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder's zombie one. Yeah, I've been waiting for that for a while. It was good. It's a Zack Snyder film, so there's a couple of scenes in it that are a bit lengthy that could have probably been cut down. It's a 2.5-hour film. It could have easily been about a 2 hour 10. Like 20 to 30 minutes of the film probably could have been cut out. But it's a Zack Snyder film. It's excellent. It's well presented. It's well done. It does seem it's quite. Do you know what? Considering the fact of its length, it's actually a very fast-paced film. Like a lot of stuff happens very quickly, so you're not really bored too often.
Yeah.
But there are scenes that are massively slowed down, and that's why it feels sometimes like it drags a little bit. Not necessarily because the story is too slow, but because of that side. It's an interesting take on zombies as well. Being a massive fan of zombies and stuff like. George A. Romero, by far my favorite horror film writer and like director and stuff. He obviously made Dawn of the Dead and things like that. It kind of has like a mixture of zombies. So there's like a hierarchy in the zombies, and it does it in a very different way, which is really interesting. I won't spoil anything because I know you're planning to watch it. Dave Bautista is excellent in the film.
Yeah.
His acting is really coming through. Like better than playing like he's very, very good as Drax. Everyone loves him as Drax, let's face it. He's a comedy genius, but this proves that he can do more serious roles and not just comedy. He pulled it off very well. There are times where it's a bit laughable. The script is kind of like, you can tell they kind of just rushed the scene out just to be like, oh, people just care about this section, they don't care about this section. So sometimes it's a bit deadpan, and his acting kind of falls short on his co-stars. But he did a good job, considering it's a big budget Netflix zombie film,
It must be hard, like, kind of getting typecast into the comedy roles all the time, because I know he's in My Spy as well, which is he's kind of like a comedy one, that one. And
it's Stuber, I believe, or Stubber.
Yeah.
Which was heavy comedy.
So it must be hard to kind of break out of that. I can imagine Melissa McCarthy doing a serious drama. But I know Dave Bautista didn't actually start out as an actor. So
yeah, he was he's the same as Dwayne Johnson and John Cena. He was
yeah,
a wrestler that branched out, and it's paying off for him now. I think.
well, I suppose they are actors, aren't they? Wrestlers. Then?
Yeah, well, technically, yeah, technically
Yeah.
they just take a lot more punishment than normal actors.
Yeah.
But no, I think this role definitely proves that he could do more than just make people laugh.
Yeah.
There's potential there, but it's just I think he's still got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah.
But I won't talk too much about that, so I don't want to spoil it for you.
That's all right. All of our viewers know there's going to be spoilers here.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you. You haven't seen it yet. But there's another film called The Trust that I watched. Me and Vic watched it together. It stars Nick Cage and Elijah Wood. It's kind of like a buddy cop film, but it's like a much darker version of a buddy cop film. So they're trying to like rob a place and stuff, and it's Nick Cage. Just expect a Nick Cage film. But it's interesting to see his kind of like chemistry with Elijah Wood, someone who's in the Lord of the Rings films. Nick Cage was meant to play Aragorn, but that never happened.
I can't see that.
Can you imagine if that happened? Nicolas Cage as Aragorn. It just wouldn't have worked. But yeah, no, this film, very good, very funny. It's on Prime. I highly recommend it. If just as a laugh. It's a bit long, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Nick Cage's performance, as always, just gets you chuckling. So, if nothing else. There was another film that I watched as well. It's called Ravenous. It's an interesting film. It's about like these kind of people that are sort of like sheriffs and police deputies back, in the Western times kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they basically a cannibal that's living in the hills. They randomly come across this guy. He leads them up there and all hell breaks loose. It's a very interesting film. Not too bloody and not too gory, and the script is excellent. There's some good
what's
actors.
that called again?
It's called Ravenous.
Oh, right.
It's good actors in it. I'm trying to... It's an older film as well. I think it was back 97, I think. But I know it was late 90s. That's definitely a film I would... It's very good. Very well acted. It's an interesting one to watch because I don't normally go back to watch older films and stuff. Not that they're not good, but it's just they tend to not be on your radar.
Yeah.
But no, definitely worth a watch. I also watched Haunted Season 3 because Haunted Season 3 and Love, Robots and Death, also Season 2, came out. So I just binged them literally day one. I love those things. The new, I'll start with Love, Death and Robots. The new anthology for that Season 2 is excellent. Bit annoying that there was only 8 episodes, considering they came out with the first season with 16. But I guess, with COVID and everything, I understand that stuff can't always, work that way. But considering it's been 2 years, it was bloody good. There was a lot of good episodes. There was one episode in particular. I can't remember which episode it was, like in order. But there's one like a police. It's kind of like a futuristic one, without spoiling anything. It's like a futuristic one, and there's 2 like sort of tiers to the world, and they're policing sort of certain aspects of the world. It's a very interesting thought process to kind of watch.
So is it like different kind of plots each episode, or
yeah? So it's like its own story. Each episode is like its own unique story. Season 1 was outstanding, and Season 2 is just as good. I just kind of wish there was more from Season 2 than just... Because they tend to be quite quick episodes as well. I think the longest episode is like half hour. So they're very quick. Some episodes are like 10 minutes. So, but they're all animated and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So the animation in some of these is genuinely photorealistic. It looks real. So highly recommend both seasons of that. And then Haunted is kind of like real life stories, like people are sitting around and talking about their real life experiences of ghosts and a horror situation. But this Season 3 was kind of more interesting. They went kind of off that beaten path and actually were telling stories about like actual places that had like hidden kill rooms and stuff, like actual places where people were murdered.
Yeah.
But then something happened after that. So it's kind of up to interpretation what you believe, but it's definitely a fun series.
Is it a bit more like a bit more high budget than the like old dramatizations?
Yeah, they do have like recreations of the scenes, but it's much more. It's not like over the top American.
Yeah,
like horror sounds every other second and whatnot.
Yeah, like the really bad acted ones. Where it's just like, oh my god,
they're actually genuinely quite well acted. So No, they're very, very good. And then there's only two other series is that one of which is still going. I think the final episode comes out in 2 days, which is on. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a YouTuber called Onision. He's a prick. But basically, he's kind of worked his way around the law to be able to sleep with the younger women and different states, and he's just a fuck nugget.
So like most YouTubers.
No. Yeah, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
I used to watch him when I was younger with some of his videos because back then he like none of this was obviously revealed and whatever. But the series is kind of a strange one. There's a lot of drama behind the series and stuff. I won't go into that, and I'm not really bothered. But it's an interesting series to watch. I'm watching it on Discovery Plus. Randomly found that and I was like, oh, cool. And there's Cornwall Air 999, which was like it's basically based around Cornwall and the helicopter ambulance service that they have. And it was like interesting to see what they have to put up with on a daily basis during COVID and seeing how they deal with those situations. So pretty bad injuries sometimes, and I was like, Jesus Christ, they're actually showing it. So a couple of times
backwards.
Yeah, a couple of times I actually felt a bit queasy. I was like, oh shit, okay. It's different when you see it in real life. But yeah, no, it's interesting if people like that kind of stuff, like watching, police service or ambulance service working their shit every
My
day.
mum loves that. Helicopter heroes.
I don't mind the UK versions of stuff because they don't tend to be like over the top and over dramatized. But like American, I can't watch like just din and stuff like that. It's fucking irritating. it's just fucking. I want to see what they do. I don't care about it being
helicopter heroes in the style of like Gordon Ramsay's Hell Kitchen.
It's fucking broke. It's broke.
Sever the artery.
Sever his fucking artery, you pig. Oh, okay. Cheers, Ramsay.
Insert the IV.
Insert the IV, you fucking donkey. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's...
yeah, she's dead.
She's fucking dead. CPR, you prick. Can you imagine Ramsay doing something like that? A show about...
Yeah, just like, prick, fucker.
Stay alive, you asshole.
Perform CPR.
True fact, if you ever have to perform CPR, do it to the staying alive team. That is actually a thing you get taught. Take it from someone that actually had to do first aid because I was like, the first thing they tell you is CPR, do it to the tune of saving.
Or you can do it to Baby Shark, but I think I'd rather let them die than do it.
Staying alive. Fuck Baby Shark's the worst
Baby
shit
Shark,
that was ever. Shut up! Silence yourself! I hate that fucking song so much. Right, yeah, but that's all I've got for films and TV and stuff.
Yeah, I started watching The Sons of Sam, which is like a little crime documentary.
I did see that on Netflix.
Son of Sam or something. About a serial killer in New York with kind of links to Satanism and all this. And did they get the right guy and all this? So it's pretty interesting. One of the standard Netflix ones.
Okay.
I only watched the first episode so far.
I do like them, so and I think I put that on my list, but I haven't actually watched it yet.
It's interesting enough. Can't really say too much more about it. So, yeah. There's a fun little YouTube which I watch sometimes called Rate My Takeaway.
Okay.
It's just a guy from Leeds, and he gets his table out and like sits outside the takeaway thing you're not supposed to, and just like eats it and reviews it. It's so funny. Every time he gets out his car, he's like, you better put my knacker cracker away.
Knacker cracker? What?
No, knacker cracker. Right then, folks, back on the road again. Oh, it's so good. If you want to laugh, you just have to watch some of his stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we don't... it's a very diverse podcast, this one. We talk
about... Well, I mean, I think that the best way to do this podcast is just like, we'll just be ourselves. And unfortunately, both of us watch a very diverse set of things.
Yeah.
So, it's never the same.
True.
I'll tell you, one thing I did forget, sorry to interrupt you, one thing I did forget was Invincible, the anime that Prime made about superheroes and stuff. Very much like The Boys sort of take on superheroes. So I would highly recommend, if anyone who's watched The Boys like that, watch it. It's very, very good. Has a lot of good actors in it as well, like Stephen Yen from The Walking Dead. You have, I can't remember what his name was now. The guy, Jay Simmons, the guy who was in the original Spider-Man films that played the newsroom guy, head of the newspaper. He's in it. So many fucking big actors in there and actresses. It's like you hear their voice and you recognise it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I highly recommend that. Sorry to interrupt you.
I will put that on the list. So there's another little section that we don't really cover that often, which is music.
Yeah. I actually do have stuff for this.
So I used to be a massive fan of Muse. I was like recently looking back at their album releases, and I listened to their album from 2018 called Simulation Theory. I was pleasantly surprised at a lot of the songs on there. Some highlights: Algorithm. That's the very first one on there. It's like very like 80s themed. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's very good. It's Matt Bellamy's vocals over there, still, sailing high.
Yeah.
A Dark Side and The Void are also some of my favourites. There's a little bit of tapering off in the middle section, but towards the end with The Void, it picks back up again. And they have like alternate reality versions of the songs as well, which are like stripped down in more kind of cinematic, I suppose.
Yeah.
So those 3 songs are also like really good in that version as well. So yeah,
Muse are one of those bands that are so diverse. Like they do everything. They'll break stuff apart and try. Like they're the only band I know that can do different things, and everyone just loves it.
Oh yeah, like dubstep and beatboxing. They do all of it. I think it kind of the roots were kind of like in rock, but then it's kind of like come to alternative. Which is that this album is very alternative.
Yeah.
Still like some like rock elements of it as well. So
wow,
it's I enjoyed it. I've been listening to some of the songs on repeat for quite a while. So yeah, is there any albums that you want to mention?
Actually, yes. One band that I went back to listen to again was Doubtery. Very good band. They've been around for a very long time, and my favorite album, which I bought recently just to listen to it over and over and over and over, was called Baptized. No, they're not Christians. At least I don't believe. But they have like really good songs. Some of my favorites are like Battleships, I'll Fight, Wild Heart, Long Live Rock and Roll. They're kind of like a very they're more like country rock. I guess that would be the way I describe it. Lots of like acoustic stuff, piano, but they also have heavy drums, bass, electric guitar. No screaming or anything like that. They're just a very, very good, relaxing band. They clearly, the lead singer, I think the only way I could describe him is very unique. He's kind of like Chester Bennington in that sense. Like his vocal range is absolutely out of this world. So yeah. I highly recommend people go and listen to them because they're very, very good. And Baptized is probably a very good album to start with. They're very like they have a lot of. This is gonna make me sound lovely. They have a lot of emotional songs, and very sad boy teenager songs.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
The staring out of a train window kind of songs. Yeah.
I wanna find the one. Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, they are very good though, and they have a lot of diversity in their sort of sets and their albums.
I think you want to get baptized.
No. No offense to anyone that has been baptized or Christian. No, it's all good. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Maybe I will get. Do you know what? I'd be interested in doing that maybe for the podcast. Like just have a random episode of just getting baptized and see what happens. Will the place burn up?
I'll ordain myself in there.
Yes. This is it now. That has to happen. If I'm going to be baptized, it has to be by Sean.
That's going to be a weird fantasy.
Pope Sean.
Father.
Daddy.
Anyway.
But yeah, that's mainly the band I've been listening to recently.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool section there. A little bit of a
different one.
To our musical.
And ironically, we both had something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sprung that on you.
You did. But yes. So anything else? Oh wait, random things now. Random things. Do you have a random thing, sir?
I do, but I feel like I've already covered this one in the previous one. But
who cares?
Our
opinions might change.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I have a bit of a block when it comes to these things. I'm like,
yeah,
let's just ask a hypothetical question.
I'll just ask
Um,
this.
so it is: would you tell a friend if you're concerned about their weight?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's one of those situations today. If I was genuinely concerned about like a friend's health or like a partner's health or a family member's health, like if I genuinely thought their weight was going to seriously become an issue, then yes, I would turn to them and be like, "Mate, not to be horrible, but you need to lose some fucking weight. Like
Yeah.
it's bad for your health at
Or
this
the other
point."
way, if they were like kind of too skinny or
Yeah, or the other way. Yeah, absolutely. You need to start. I'm concerned about your weight. You need to put weight on. Like,
yeah.
absolutely. I think as a friend, it's like if you give a fuck about your friends, it's you should help them out. If you think they're going through something, talk to them about it or bring it up to them. Just say, "Look, I'm concerned."
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If you see a change in them, like I'd be more prone to talking to them if like, say if I met someone and they were always kind of a big person, and then somehow they just like narrowed down within the space of like 6 weeks. I'd be like,
Yeah.
are you okay? Are you actually doing something?
Are you eating?
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Just not eating.
Yeah.
And yeah, the same if they kind of went really, really kind of bony and stuff, it'd be a bit concerning. I suppose it's hard if you like if someone has like a weight issue or something and you don't notice a change in them or they don't talk about it or anything like that. So it's kind of hard to address it with that. But if you don't notice anything, it's hard to, if someone's really struggling maintaining their weight or struggling with their body image.
Yeah.
Um,
I would absolutely say though, be careful with it. Like, because it's a delicate subject, and the problem
yeah,
is, it's like if you are worried and concerned, that's okay. You absolutely make it known to that person if you care about them that you want them to be okay, but don't like just don't do what I said in the beginning. Basically, just walk up to, hey, you're fat, you need to lose some weight, because that's not going to help. But just say, look, I'm a bit concerned and worried about you. Is everything okay? And especially, I think a lot of people like do talk about like anorexia and things like that, and that people worried about them and stuff. I don't tend to hear it too often about people putting weight on. I tend to hear more like, oh well, that person's just fat, or that person like doesn't care about their health or whatever. And it's like that's not always the case. Like, be nice to people and be understanding. Try and perceive it from their perspective. Maybe they do have a weight. They hate how they look, but they can't. There's something that is stopping them from getting that help and stuff. So just be a support. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. If you're just like constantly like ridiculing or obviously there's nothing they haven't heard before.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just kind of adding to that problem rather than being supportive or. Oh yeah, I don't know. If they're kind of really bad about it, it's probably best not to mention anything if they're gonna get triggered by it, or just be there for them. Let's just say if you need to talk,
I think, I don't know if this is just a me thing, so I'm just going to say this is about me. But if it was me in that position and someone was worried about my weight or my health or anything like that, I'd rather they came to me and told me. Don't go. I understand that there's this thing of like people sometimes might want to, understandably, they're too worried and they don't want to upset the person, so they go and talk to other people that know the person or that person's family. That can do more damage than good.
Yeah.
So I would say absolutely be upfront and talk to the person, but just do it respectfully. Be patient with them. As frustrating as it might be patient with someone. Have that patience to wait for them to, be okay with talking to you. Bring it up to them, and if they go, well, give me some time, sure. But
I suppose there is an argument for people who say like it's fat shaming is a good thing because it like will promote them to like kind of lose weight. I suppose that whole mental health issues that come with that probably aren't great.
Yeah. But then the thing is, fat shaming is one thing, but they're not going to lose the weight healthily, are they? They're going to try and get rid of it as quickly as possible.
And also,
starving and exercising.
If you, it's very rare that someone doesn't know that they're fat. So they obviously they're aware of the issue.
Yes. It's just,
So, it's a difficult one.
Because
if you're concerned about your friends, just mention it to them.
Yeah, because I, in all fairness, when I put a lot of weight on, I had a couple of friends that were like, mate, you've put a lot of weight on very quickly. You might want to look at that. And it's like, no, you're right. Sometimes it is just like a little kind of nudge on the shoulder or something that they need. And just, remember, you have got other years of your life. This will come back to bite you in the ass if you're not careful. So, and I think if you know the person, if you've been friends with them for a while, then you know how to approach the situation,
Mm-hmm.
And if it is something more serious, don't joke about it. Just be like, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. I'm worried,
Yeah. Don't send them clips of Little Britain fat fighters.
Yeah. Dust. Anybody? Somebody? Dust. Yeah, don't do that. It's not going to help them at all. But yeah, no.
Yes. Did you have anything for interesting things?
I didn't know. God, I'm really lacking this week. Like I slacked off real bad. Trying to think of anything if I can think of something quickly. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Oh God, I burped. I can't think of anything. I'm sorry.
What about if you were concerned about a friend who was in abusive relationship or something? Like, how would you go about that?
Well, how I've gone about it in the past is just basically ask the person if they're okay, and if you can tell something's not right, and you just you're worried about the safety or whatever. I mean, there's multitudes of paths you can go down. One is going to the authorities, but if you go to the authorities, you need proof. Otherwise,
you kind of balance in that line because love is blind. That person probably might not see
a lot
what
of
situation they're in, and you're jeopardizing your friendship with them if you mention anything like that.
Well, not even their friendship, but in some cases you might be worried about their safety. I think definitely talk to the person and just be like, look, I'm it's the same thing. It's like talk to them and just be like, look, I'm concerned, I'm worried. You need to get help. Or if you're seeing bruises on someone and things like that, and you can tell they're covering up, or because it's one of those things. Like a lot of people go, oh, well, how can you tell? Well, it's fucking obvious. It's more obvious than people let on. It's hard because as you say, the person who's being abused tends to have more kind of loyalty to the abuser. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a case by case basis, that one, more so than anything.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I would absolutely say if you're worried about someone, look into what your options are in that position. Don't put them in danger or anything because as good as it is to go to the authorities and be like, here, look, I've got this.
Yeah,
evidence.
Don't be a Karen about it.
Well, no, not even that, but like you go to the authorities and you're like, hey, I'm worried about this person, but you've got no evidence. They go and knock on that door. Who's to say the abuser doesn't think the partner's done it?
Yeah.
And then nothing comes of it because there's no evidence, there's no proof. They don't, and they'd say the police don't suspect anything because abusers can be smart, man. They can be very good with their words, and they know how to make authorities go away. So if they manage to do that, think of the danger that you could put the partner in.
Repercussions.
Something else horrific could happen, or nothing could happen, or you might be seeing something that isn't actually happening. That's another thing as well. Like you might report something that if the person's like, well, I just took a fall and they genuinely fell and hurt themselves and have a bruise, and you're like, oh no, you're being beaten. Like that's not a good mindset. It's like be considerate and be observant. Don't just jump into something because you might end up doing more damage than you do good. So
possibly making notes of like things that you witness. Just in case, not anything that you can like share online or whatever. Just like private, personal little journal of things that you may have noticed on this day. Because in the future that might come in handy when they realise the error of their ways. And
it's evidence. Build up proof. There's a lot of mentality. I feel like maybe this is my question for the day. I feel like social media has become this thing of where people just go on there and berate people, and it is guilty until proven innocent. That is not how it should be. It is innocent until proven guilty, and start fucking acting like it. I feel like people are going backwards. Like they're going with this mentality that, oh well, you have a bruise on your hand, which means you must be being hurt, and it's like, no, I slipped and twatted a wall. But people might look at it differently, and
people want like that bit of drama, and they want to assume the worst, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Yeah,
and there's usually a very simple explanation.
Sometimes. I mean, abuse is rampant, right? There are tons of domestic abuse call-outs every day for police. Averagely, I think about 1,000 a day, domestic abuse calls to 999. That is abhorrent. Like, that is awful. But this is why it's such a prominent issue that I think needs to be talked about more, and people need to be more observant. And as hard as it is, the people that are being abused need to be able to understand they're being abused and get help. And it's, as someone that has been a verbal abuser, because I'm not fucking perfect. I've made my mistakes. I've fucking paid for them, and it's as simple as that. And I have learned and got better. But as someone that's also been beaten the shit out of and abused and hurt before that, because I didn't get help, I became that person, nearly. I didn't actually hit someone, thank fuck, but it was very close to, and it could have. And that's the thing. Like, these people who are abusers could be someone that just needs help.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make their actions any better. It doesn't make them a good person. But, if they don't get help, then it's just the cycle is going to continue unnecessarily. And that's, it's like you want both parties to benefit and improve and get a better life out of it. You don't just want to punish one person and not give them the help.
Yeah.
It's so complicated.
It's likely abusers who have suffered abuse themselves and stuff.
It doesn't make it doesn't make what they're doing right at all. I'm not saying that at all.
Unhappiness spawns unhappiness.
Toxicity breeds toxicity. It's why there's so much like stuff now about like child abuse and stuff like don't hit your kids. There is a reason for it. If you hit your kids, it naturally you're teaching them that it's fine to hit someone if they annoy you. That's not all of it. Again, it's a very broad subject that we could talk about for hours. But that's why I said earlier, it's a case-by-case basis. Some people are savable, some people are not. And that's that, some people will change, some people will not. And it's just make sure that you're observant with people. Talk to people. If you're concerned about something, talk to them. And if you feel like something is off after talking to them, then start going that step further.
Building a case.
Talk to other, instead, I know what I said earlier about the sort of, if you're worried about someone's weight, again, it's a situational thing. If you're concerned about a friend being abused, or maybe in an abusive situation, talk to other friends as well, and be like, what's your opinion? Do you think I'm being, if a group of you, that is more evidence. That's more people that are noticing something that originally it was just one person maybe. Because you never know, someone else might feel the same way that you do, but you don't know unless you talk to them. So it's communication. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Difficult.
Yeah.
But,
It's a very big, broad subject.
just chucked in at the end.
Yeah. Good one, though.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about that more on another one.
Yeah, maybe we'll have like a podcast about that one thing. Because that is a fucking huge subject. But yeah, no. Is that it?
I think so.
Well, look at that. A bit of a heavy topic to end it on, but that's the podcast. We talk about everything. It's not just about one thing, and it's important to talk about all this stuff as well. I think a lot of people shy away from it. We will not. But yeah,
it's important for us to have some verbal area around these important issues.
These things that should be discussed, because otherwise how will we ever learn? You won't stop being ignorant unless you're educated. That's how it works. So but yes.
Preach it, sister.
But yes, if you have enjoyed the podcast today, thank you very much for watching it or listening to it or having it on the background or
clicking off after 5 seconds.
Clicking off after 5 seconds. It's fine. But yeah, thank you again, Sean, for joining me for it. It was fun. It was a good one.
Yes, definitely.
And we'll do another one again soon. Hopefully, we'll record it on the actual day next time.
Maybe the people won't notice.
Maybe no one knows. It's all a secret. It comes out a week later.
Smoke screen.
It is. Yeah. So thank you very much to everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And myself and Sean will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Well then.